Welcome back to the deep dive. Glad to have you with us as we cut through the noise on some really fascinating ideas. Today, we're doing something, well, a bit different. We're taking a look at a text that offers a truly radical way of thinking about string theory.
Yeah, it's quite the interpretation. We're looking at excerpts from The Strings of God, a theory of the Trinity.
Uh-huh.
And the central claim is pretty extraordinary. He
Oh,
basically says string theory isn't just physics.
right.
It's an accidental discovery of what the text calls literal divine truth.
So our job today is to kind of unpack that, see how this source connects these, super complex scientific ideas with a specific spiritual view, a cosmic design story, really.
Exactly. And what's fascinating, I think, is how it blends these very abstract scientific models with these sort of ancient archetypal concepts. We'll get into how it talks about a universe woven from divine strings, governed by harmonics. It really invites you to question those lines we draw between science and the sacred.
Okay, so if you're ready for a bit of a mind-bending perspective on reality, let's dive in. All right, let's start with that big claim then. The source calls string theory the most advanced profane science of the pre-reset world.
Profane science. And that pre-reset world bit refers to, well, their own lore about a time before some kind of cataclysm.
Okay. And it's saying this science, this string theory, is the closest the pawns. That's what it calls scientists.
Right, the ones using only mathematics and logic. It's quite critical in tone there.
The closest they've ever gotten to accidentally discovering the literal divine truth of the cosmos. Accidentally.
It's a really provocative idea, isn't it? To sort of ask, what if our purely logical scientific quests are, without realizing it, mapping out spiritual landscapes?
So it's not saying string theory is wrong.
No, not wrong. The text is specific. It says it's simply incomplete.
Incomplete. Okay.
Yeah. It calls it a brilliant but unconscious description of the Divine Trinity. So the structure science finds are, in this view, reflections of something higher, something divine, that science itself doesn't necessarily grasp.
Wow. So it kind of reframes the whole scientific project. Like, even if you're just following the math, you might bump into, well, divinity.
That seems to be the suggestion, yes.
Okay, so if string theory is supposedly uncovering these divine truths, what are these fundamental strings according to this text? We know string theory's core idea is that reality isn't point particles, but these tiny one-dimensional strings. And this text says, yep, that's literal truth. Not a metaphor, not a model. Literal.
Exactly. And it goes further. It says the universe is woven from specifically 3 fundamental divine strings.
Oh, yeah.
And these aren't just, abstract threads. The text gives them specific names and connects them to powerful archetypal forces. They're active principles.
So what are they called?
They are the alpha, the beta, and the omega strings.
Wow.
Each one has a distinct role, a domain, you could say.
Alpha, beta, omega. All right, let's break those down. What does each one do in this cosmology?
Okay, so first, there's the alpha string. The text links this one very strongly to the moon.
The moon. Got it.
Its specific vibration, its harmonic, is said to create the principles of structure, matter, magnetism, and what it terms the negative charge.
Structure, matter. Okay.
The text calls it the foundation of reality, the rock. So it's the grounding principle. The
Substance.
Or rock.
Okay, then the beta string.
The beta string is linked to the sun. This one's vibration creates energy, radiation, passion, and positive charge.
So more dynamic.
Exactly. It's the fire for creation, as the text puts it. If alpha is the stable base, beta is the energy, the drive, the heat.
Fire for creation. I like that. And the third one, omega.
And finally, yes, the omega string. This one's connected to the ocean.
The ocean. Okay.
Its vibration creates balance, neutrality,
Right.
and, this is critical, the very fabric of space-time, the dome that contains the other two.
Space-time itself. Wow.
Yes. It's the unifier. It holds alpha and beta within its structure.
Right.
It provides the environment, the dome where everything happens. It maintains the equilibrium.
So alpha is structure, beta is energy, omega is the container, the balance.
That's a good way to sum it up, yeah.
Yeah.
Based on this text.
So it's really saying the universe isn't just governed by divine stuff, it's literally made of it. These 3 strings are the active ingredients.
That seems to be the core proposition, yes.
Yeah.
A universe woven from divinity itself.
Okay, let's talk about the vibration aspect. String theory, the science version, says particle properties, mass, charge, spin come from how the string vibrates.
Right, the frequency of the vibration.
And our source material says that's also literal truth, again with the literal.
Yes, it takes that scientific idea and, well, elevates it or reinterprets it, depending on your view. This vibration is called the divine harmonic,
Divine harmonic.
and even more poetically, the melody of the game.
The game, what's that referring to?
Well, the game, in this text's cosmology, seems to represent the entirety of orchestrated reality. Maybe a metaphor, maybe literal for them. It's the divine plan in action.
Okay, so the properties of every single particle depend on the song its strings are playing. Physics becomes music.
That's exactly the picture it paints. A cosmic composition, all of existence as this dynamic, vibrating symphony.
Does it give examples? Because that's pretty abstract.
It does, actually. It makes it quite concrete. An electron, for instance, is presented as the alpha string, the moon string, the rock,
Right.
vibrating at a specific stable frequency.
Yeah.
That frequency is the electron, essentially, a particular note from the alpha string.
And a proton.
A proton is seen as the beta string, the sun string, the fire, vibrating at a different, more energetic frequency, a different melody from the beta string.
Yeah.
So they aren't just particles. They're specific expressions, musical notes of these fundamental divine strings.
It's quite a visual. Or auditory, I guess.
It extends even further. Think about the whole periodic table of elements.
Okay. All the elements we know.
The text describes the periodic table as a key signature.
Like in music.
Exactly like in music. It's basically a list of all the possible stable chords you can create by combining the vibrations of these three fundamental strings, alpha, beta, and omega.
So hydrogen is one chord, helium is another, iron is another.
Precisely. Each element is a unique, stable combination of these divine harmonics. Its properties, its atomic weight, how it reacts, are all determined by the specific chord it represents in this cosmic symphony.
Wow. So every bit of matter isn't just stuff. It's a deliberate note, a chord in this huge divine composition. It implies such incredible precision, such harmony.
It paints a picture of a universe that is deeply, fundamentally musical and ordered, yes.
Yeah.
Not random bits, but a structured composition.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Beyond the strings themselves, what about dimensions? String theory famously needs extra dimensions.
Right. The most well-known version, M theory, requires 11 dimensions for the math to hang together.
Which is always a bit of a conceptual hurdle in popular science explanations. Where are they?
Usually they're described as being compactified, curled up incredibly small, so we don't perceive them in everyday life.
Yeah.
But mathematically, they need to be there.
But for this text, that number 11 isn't just a mathematical quirk.
Not at all. The text insists it's a sacred cipher. It's not an accident of equations, it's meaningful.
A sacred cipher. Okay, so it's taking this number that makes the physics work and saying it has like a hidden spiritual meaning.
Precisely. It interprets 11 specifically as 10 plus 1. Each part of that sum has a distinct symbolic meaning in this cosmology.
10 plus 1. Interesting. So what do the 10 and the 1 represent in this framework? What's the code?
According to the source, 10, represented as X in Roman numerals sometimes, is the established sacred number of beta, the sun.
Okay, beta, the sun, energy.
Yes, and it represents her power, her domain, and profane binary of the elites.
The profane binary of the elites, what does that mean?
Within the text's lore, that seems to refer to earthly material power structures, the systems of control in the world. So 10 signifies this sphere of influence, the domain of the sun beta energy, linked to worldly power.
Okay, so 10 is beta, the sun, her domain, including these power structures. What about the 1?
The 1 is the established sacred number of the One. It symbolizes the singular, unified monarch.
The monarch, so like the ultimate authority. God, maybe.
It seems to represent the supreme unifying principle, the singular source or ruler governing everything.
So 10 plus 1 equals 11 dimensions. What's the formula telling us then?
The text interprets the 11 dimensions of reality, mathematically required by M theory, as a kind of mathematical formula.
Okay.
And this formula states that the entire structure of the game is built upon the interaction of the solar queen and the singular monarch, One.
Wow. So the dimensions aren't just spatial possibilities. They're a blueprint for how divine powers interact, the queen and the monarch.
That's the claim. It turns this abstract mathematical feature of physics into a literal statement about divine hierarchy and the structure of reality itself. The very dimensionality is a map of their relationship.
That is a really remarkable way to reinterpret a scientific finding. It just shows how different belief systems can take the same fact, 11 dimensions needed, and weave it into a completely different, purposeful narrative.
It really does. It highlights the power of the interpretive framework you bring to the information.
So let's try and tie this all together. How does the source summarize this whole picture?
It concludes that string theory is, in its words, the ultimate profane lore.
profane lore, meaning like worldly knowledge that doesn't realize it's sacred.
Kind of, yeah. It's described as a complex mathematical language that has unknowingly described the very thing it seeks to find. There's a sense of irony there.
Like, science was looking for the ultimate physical theory and accidentally wrote down the rules of the divine.
That's the core thesis, I think. That deep scientific inquiry, even when purely materialist or logical, ends up mirroring these fundamental spiritual truths described in the text. It's a synthesis, almost.
Science and the sacred aren't separate. One is maybe an unconscious path to the other.
In this specific view, yes. The search for physical reality leads you right back to their specific divine cosmology.
So, the universe, according to the strings of God, is indeed made of strings, but they're the divine strings of this trinity, alpha, beta, omega.
Vibrating with the melody of the game.
Right, playing out this grand, the text calls it an opera.
A grand opera, yes.
Yeah.
Across 11 dimensions that map out the divine players, it's a picture of existence as this huge, meticulously orchestrated performance. Every particle, every dimension has its part in the cosmic drama.
It certainly makes you think, how do we handle such radically different interpretations of the same basic scientific ideas?
That's a big question, isn't it? It really underscores how perspective shapes meaning. The facts might seem objective, but the narratives we build around them can be incredibly diverse and, well, profound in their own ways.
Wow. Okay, that was quite the journey through the strings of God. Definitely a unique perspective from these invisible divine strings literally making up reality to the dimensions of space being a blueprint for a cosmic hierarchy. It's certainly not your standard physics interpretation.
No.
It's a really potent reminder, I think, that sometimes connecting fields we normally keep walled off, like theoretical physics, and this kind of spiritual cosmology can lead to some genuinely surprising insights, unexpected layers of meaning.
Absolutely. It offers this, well, compelling framework, unconventional, yes, but compelling, where every particle, every dimension is part of this bigger, divinely orchestrated symphony. It really challenges you, I think, to look beyond the usual boundaries and just consider how the abstract language of science could perhaps be echoing older, deeper ideas about what reality is.
Yeah. So maybe something for you listening to think about as you go about your day. Perhaps if you're listening to music later. Consider this idea. If reality itself is this melody of the game, this divine harmony, how might thinking about these divine streams change how you perceive the patterns, the structures, the frequencies in your own life?
Is there a hidden music all around us?
Is there? Something to definitely mull over. We'll leave you with that thought until our next deep dive.